I need to ask you a question.
Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside him, bobbed, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzerland a big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
Well said, Matty.
Yeah. She is fast, but she's not in the Lightning Stakes this weekend, which is a real shame. But
It is a shame. I reckon she would have run a nice race heading towards the Newmarket. I think 1200 is her sweet spot.
I think she would have brained him.
Isthmus.
No, wait for age first up 1,000 metres would have been a tough assignment.
Yeah, it would have been.
Against those throbbing 3-year-olds.
Throbbing is that's the name of the podcast. Throbbing 3-year-olds. Yeah, well said, Matty Hill. Got me thinking, though, that entrance, like the comparison between Matty Hill and Darren Flindell. Mm-hmm. I would compare Darren Flindell to like a Ray Rabs Warren. Really good with the crescendo, like the build up. And Dolly Star, like he's got like a really a crescendo which continually builds up. Whereas I think Matty Hill's just got a really nice like play on words.
Your Dennis Comedies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cork in the ocean sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Really nice cadence. Whereas I'd say Darren Flindell's got an excellent like build up.
Okay. Jeez, who had the better career? Probably Rabs. You would have to say of Rabs and Dennis. Dennis, one of the greats.
Wouldn't say a bad word about Dennis.
No.
But
And
Rabs is just different gravy.
you probably didn't see too much of Dennis.
No, I didn't, no.
Yeah, but Dennis was great growing
But
up.
I do enjoy when the vintage games come on Fox because sometimes when I'm at home and I don't really feel like watching anything, I feel like doom scrolling myself into oblivion. I like to chuck on a vintage game, have that in the background.
Yeah.
Which is I think the millennial version of what the Zoomers have when they watch TikToks and there's like 3 things going on the same screen.
Yes.
I don't know how they do it.
No. They're brain rot.
Yeah, pure brain rot.
Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, Dennis always had, I guess, the partnership with Bruce as well.
Yeah, true.
And Bruce just kind of lifted Dennis. And
Love
Dennis
Bruce.
lifted Bruce.
Love
Now
Bruce.
Bruce is ours for the great game.
Yeah, it's really good to see.
He's really stepped back, Bruce. He only really goes like, "Hey, bruh, I'm doing like 10 weeks a year. I'm doing the good days on the racing carnival." He probably does like 20 weeks, I reckon.
Yeah.
20 weeks a year.
Work half a year.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, he's pretty old. He's getting up there.
Yeah, 70-something.
And I believe he has one of the big C's.
Yeah, he's been in and out of the Big C.
Yeah. But he's no victim about it. He's like, yeah, I have it, but do not feel sorry for me.
No.
I hope if I was in that situation, that's what I'd be like.
Yeah, I hope so. You can always hope, and you can take inspiration from someone like Bruce.
You really can.
One more time.
Well, another C of, I guess, is Counter. He's back at Eagle Farm. 2,200 metres, race 5 in a benchmark 80. 2,200, as I said. Number 14, barrier 10. Is it Bailey Wheeler in the saddle? 53.5 kilos. $26 with the good people at Neds. He has...
Thank God he's finally a price.
He needs to be. First 2 runs. At 1,400, he was beaten 4 lengths. Not a bad return. Second, I don't know what happened.
That was dross. That was probably his worst run ever, except for the one down at Newcastle where he looked like a horse that needed to be gelded again.
First ever.
Yeah.
That sucked.
That sucked.
No, there was another bad one after that. Oh, no, his first up run was like, oh, okay, whatever. He was like 30-1 that day, but I remember the one you're talking about. He was like $2 favourite. 3 wide, over racing. What have we done?
Yeah.
But
he's had a few D-days, Counter. I feel this is a pretty big D-day.
1,600 to 2,200. If I didn't own a share of this horse, I would be avoiding that all day.
Yeah.
But who am I to question the master trainer and Chris Bowler?
True. I think it was just a scheduling thing with Racing Queensland, and there was no 2,000 metre race and whatever. But he doesn't need to win this race on the weekend. Just need to see an improved performance from Counter.
Well,
That's what I need to see from him.
yeah. Or it could be English sales, bruh.
It very well could be. And, you know, it's been one of those things where I've learned a lot of lessons. What has taught me the biggest lesson is when you've got the favourite child, Portsea. I was just nothing.
Nothing.
I was just absolutely nothing. And still putting in good efforts.
Hey, we will always hold. We will never sell.
Never sell.
Never. Because she owes us absolutely nothing.
She owes us nothing.
Yeah. And it's full credit to the Bloodstock agent, Benny Pace, for finding her.
Full credit.
Full credit.
Look, just between you and I and everyone listening, wish we had different silks on Portsea.
But, yeah, Counter. He went up against Portsea. Was it last start? Must have been. Over the mile.
His last start, yes. Portsea's run since.
Yeah. So Portsea ran dead heat third that day. Wasn't a dead heat.
No, it wasn't a day. Yeah, absolutely.
And then Portsea ran second.
Yep.
Again.
Super race.
Yeah. So she's
Way too far back.
so she's kind of found her feet again. And if she keeps running second, I'm a happy man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because
Second on Saturdays?
she's paying the bills. Let's put it
Absolutely,
that way.
yeah.
Counter needs to lift his weight
He does.
because the good people at Chris Waller Racing, their fees are expensive.
Even when you only own a single hair on his head.
I know. Yeah, so good luck to Counter. $26 with the good people at Ned's. We will be looking on with bated breath. What does bated breath mean?
Like that, I guess.
Okay. Okay, let's go to Flemington, eh? Mm-hmm. So, Flemmo, up to 5 mils of rain, 25 to 40 kilometre hour winds on Saturday. Last time I checked. So, check your local guides. Again, I'm not a weather guy. We're Wednesday. It's a few days out.
Yeah.
So,
And the meteorologists don't even know what's happening right now.
No.
So how are we supposed to?
Exactly. So if there is a severe head breeze in the wind and it's disadvantaged to lead throughout the meeting, then, adjust accordingly. We don't really know that information yet.
We don't. Off the top of your head, do you know what direction the wind would have to be facing for it to be a headwind?
Okay, I've got a saved Twitter post just for this. So let me have a look, right? Bookmarks. Just hang on.
Hang on, Drifters.
Hang on a
This is
second.
important information. If we're
Yeah,
getting
it is.
strong winds,
Yeah.
we need to understand how it impacts the racing, and therefore it will inform the rest of the podcast. Particularly, when there's a big Group 1 with some throbbing 3-year-olds taking place.
Okay, so the southerly winds, up to 30 kilometre an hour southerly winds. That was Derby Day, not last year, the year before.
Right.
So leader bias, southerly winds. Now, if I'm to have a look at Melbourne weather, doing my best here. Westerly, tending southwesterly. So, what does that mean? I'm unsure.
Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter when you just find the winners irrespective of the pattern.
Yeah, so we'll see. So check your local guides. Have a look at the other form analysts before you really get into this. So let's get into our thoughts on the meeting, though. Race 3 is the Tresity Stakes, 1,400 metre Group 3 for the fillies and mares, set weights and penalties. Thought this was a tricky little contest to kick things off, but thought Plenty of Ammo was a bigger price than she deserved to be. Against her own sex here, she started a $7.50, supported runner in the Empire Rose. Didn't go her way that day, but on the quick backup after an impressive win at the Valley against the likes of Royal Champion, who I'm a big fan of, owes me a few. But against her own sex here, first up, she ran well. I thought she could feature.
Yeah, I was looking at Plenty of Ammo as well. It's a tough market, this one here, Drifters. You've got pretty much, most of the horses are single figures, but between sort of $5 and $8 with the good people at Ned. So they're keeping a lot of ponies safe. The favourite Fancy Fight, first up, was pretty good behind She's Bulletproof and is taking in some pretty decent form. But I don't think it's that straightforward. I do think Plenty of Ammo can run a big race. I'm keen to take on Molly Bloom, despite having J-Mac in the saddle. And every time he comes to Flemington, he R&Ps. Wish All Lass will be interesting to see how she comes back. She's due to find some form again. Miraval Rose, I'm not a massive fan of Miraval Rose. So Plenty of Ammo for me as well, but not convinced at all.
No. It's more of a luck tester. See if I'm lucky, you know what I mean? All right, so I think we're on to race 6, I believe. Sorry, my notes page has just decided not to... Here we go. All right.
Race 6, the Elms.
We forgot the Talondirt, race 2. What am I doing?
Oh, the 2-year-olds.
Yeah, the 2-year-olds. What am I talking about? 1,100 metres listed, set weights penalty. So this is tough. This is very tough. But I'm going to stick to my trend somewhat. There is one that I do want to kind of highlight in the 2-year-old races in Sydney. That is currently $61 in Golden Slipper markets as well. But I'm going to go with had the Pride prep and then into a prep here. So Hiatus won a 2-year-old race, 2-year-old filly at Murray Bridge. So bring that Adelaide form. But beat off the second place runner there by, 3/4 of length and then beat the rest of them by about 7. So has some sort of talent. Barrier 1, I don't mind down the straight either. Has that rail to follow if it is the right place to be. So Hiatus, I could proposition at about $12.
Yeah. We were talking about this last week with the 2-year-olds and trying to avoid the favourites if you are having a bet, just because you just never really know what happens. And but in saying that, the favourite here, number 7, Sort of Legacy, I thought she's been great. The little filly by Too Darn Hot. 2 runs thus far. Big thing for me with this girl is the fact that she's been to Flemington before. So I just thought that'd be invaluable experience. Gets Jamie Mellum on. So Sort of Legacy for me, the 2-year-old race.
Yeah. Right, now we go to race 6, the Elms Handicap. So listed race, open handicap. My God, I know if I was put to gunpoint and they're like, give me a tip for this race, I'd actually say, kill me.
just put me out of my misery.
Because this is just impossible. You have Attrition with 62 kilos, clearly the class horse of the race. He's only getting 1.5 kilos off the likes of Just Folk, huh? But Barclay Square won over 2,000 metres in the Ballarat Cup last start. That was only a few weeks ago. And then you have the likes of Buffalo River with 54 kilos. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, it's a toughie. This is one of those, if you win it, you're in the All-Star Mile races that they've designated. So all the benchmark 100 / Group 3 horses, listed horses, have come here having a crack at getting into the All-Star Mile. Look, I don't mind Rise at Dawn, number 6 for the Hayes boys, $4.80 with the good people at Ned's. It's first up here. It's got a great record at Flemington, finishing in the Quinella. All 4 times it's raced there. Mickey D, gate 6, coming back from injury. So I don't mind Rise at Dawn. I'll probably play, but again, not that confident. Like no. Attrition with 62 kilos. Like, yeah, he's the class, but he just mixes his form way too much. He is at a price, though. If you like him drifters, though, you could have a play.
Yeah. Well,
if you want.
Yeah, if you want.
If you want.
But that's the beauty of racing. There's always another one.
There's a
around
choice.
The corner.
Exactly.
Yeah. Always.
They're always, especially in this country.
Exactly.
Rarely is there not.
No. So race 7 is the CS Hayes, 1,400 metres Group 3. Colts and Geldings set weights and penalties. I reckon Tagaloa won this 1 year after he won the Blue Diamond. One of my favourites.
Crosshaven?
Yes.
Yep.
Who
won it last year?
It was the horse that won the Victoria Derby.
Oh, Riff Rocket, of course. Yeah. Of course he did.
Yeah. And he knocked off King Colorado was favourite, I reckon.
Yep.
Where is he now?
That's a phenomenal question.
Yeah. So the CS
Actually,
Hayes...
he's that stud.
Is he? Interesting. There you go. I reckon you could almost copy and paste my comments for the last race. Gunpoint, kill me now. This is tough. I thought this was really tough. A lot of of the Derby horses coming in. Then you have an up-and-comer of sorts in Royal Insignia, potentially. And then Feroce, who was a sure price favourite, I believe, in the Carbine Club, and Alien absolutely gave him windburn. And then you have the Bad Boy Henline coming through with spring champion form. So I thought this was extremely tough. If I was to have a bit of a spec at one, Railway Man coming through Warwick Farm form for Coolmore, maiden winner, but I'm Invincible Colt. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like $20. I could have a little spec there.
Yeah. You've got to respect the Silks.
Yeah.
We talk about this often.
Yeah.
They spend enough money in the game. They've got to make some money. I really hate set weights and penalties races. I think it's underestimated when you do the form.
It depends though. There's a cracking setup for a particular horse in Sydney, set weights penalties. So
Right,
we will discuss that later, but I agree.
What's that called? Planting the seed.
Yeah. It's what you call a horizontal tease.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a method of storytelling.
Yes.
Content king over here. This is a watch race for me. I can't,
Definition.
yeah, I can't have a bet. I can't have a bet. But if I was speaking to the victim and the victim was trying to convince me to have a bet, I think number 10 Henline. He's the one where he gives me he has a similar sort of profile to a couple of horses that I backed last weekend, Angel Capital and Public Attention, where last prep was almost like Jesus, good we got them to the races, and it's good that they've performed to a degree. Finishing second in the Spring Champions, is a whatever. You know what I mean? Not all Group 1s are created equal, but it's a pity about the shitty gate, but particularly 1,400 metres Flemington. I hate that tracking distance. I hate it. I've a terrible record with it. I think at $7.50 though, he's one who could take the next step. My guy, number 11, Scary, at a big price. Would like to see him running nicely because he's heading towards a Australian Derby. So you want to see him running on probably into the first half of the field. And number 14, Seeples, very lightly raced 3-year-old gelding out of the Cliffy Brown stable. Found it interesting that Blake Shin decided to stick with this horse. Watched his last 2 starts where he won both of them. And still racing a bit greenly, doing a little bit wrong. But what I liked about both his wins, they were both slightly different. And he was smothered in both of those races, gets out and kicks away past them. He's drawn gate 2 here, but I don't mind that for 1,400 metres at Flemington. Blakey Bill, I think, will sort of get a bit of a drag into the race at the right time. Don't know if it's going to be outside of him or inside of him. But hopefully he can find a couple leaders and just sort of sit there nicely and get out at the right time. So he's one, number 14 Seeble, so I think could probably... This is harder, but maybe you could measure up.
$8.50, some sort of support.
Yeah.
So
I was looking at this obviously before the dollary dues came out.
Of course.
From the good people at Ned's.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, he'd probably be sort of $15 to $20. I was wrong. I was wrong.
No, there's still time.
There is still time.
So, but Blake Shin on, I doubt it.
Yeah, that's a green flag.
Yeah. All right, the Black Caviar Lightning Stakes, 1,000 metres, Group 1, weight for age. You blink in it and it's done. Some very fast horses here, but probably a long tail, it's fair to say. And these 3-year-olds surely just have an absolute mortgage on this race.
Yeah, I think so. The bottom 3, Growing Empire, Switzerland, and Traffic Warden, would not be surprised if that's your trifecta. It's just a case of finding out which one. I made a point probably on the podcast last week about if you're looking at Switzerland, you can effectively expect him to improve. You can say the same with Growing Empire and Traffic Warden, but they'd have to improve even more so to be able to turn the tables on Switzerland, because Switzerland put lengths on him down the Coolmore Straight. He'll be fully wound up. Like, colt of this profile, like Chris Waller is this isn't a prep run. This is I want to win this race and basically just get that weight for age Group 1 on his CV. Mm-hmm. He's drawn perfectly. Gets J-Mac. He's $3 to good people and heads. I'm very keen on Switzerland. He's my number one pick. Just ahead of Growing Empire and Traffic Warden. Growing Empire, a bit different in the Coolmore to Switzerland. Like, he'd had a big prep and it had a couple of grand finals. So this is a little bit different, but I still think with this horse, because he hasn't won the Group 1, the Kieran Maher camp is they probably have a couple of options in their mind around what do we do with this horse? Do we send him to a Newmarket handicap? Do we aim him towards a TJ? So on and so forth. So I don't know if he'd be fully wound up. Interesting thing about him is he's been ridden really cold in his trials, whereas his runs last prep in the spring, a few towards the end, where he was in the first sort of third of the field. So going to ride him colder here. So interesting to see what happens with Mark on board. I think he'll just be following J-Mac everywhere he goes and have a crack at him at the end. But that's the Quinella for me, Switzerland on top.
Yep. I'd be physically ill if Traffic Warden won and I wasn't on. He owes me 1 or 2. Now, he had EIPH in the Coolmore. So
Clear excuse.
Oh my God, it was too bad to be true. And he was a naughty boy getting pulled out of the Everest. So first up was easily the best run of his career, last prep. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. Now, I think there is one threat to the 3-year-olds, and that is I've never been in her camp, but this is almost the perfect setup for a number 6 Iron Me. Blake Shin on, drawn out, barrier 12. I think she is just a 1,000, 1,100 metre specialist.
Yep.
Really don't think 1,200 metres in this sort of company, she shows her best. But over 1,000 metres, and you could just see, right, the market's coming for Growing Empire, and she gets out to $10, and Kieran Maher still wins the race with this girl. Mm-hmm. I think I'm definitely going to have a saver bet on her. Yeah.
Certainly got that in him, Kieran Maher. Yeah, I think IME definitely needs to be respected in this race. Traffic Warden for me, like, obviously, I'm a big Switzerland guy, so I was always going to be in his camp. Traffic Warden for me, I think he could run at 1,400 metres and win. So for me, Newmarket, he's going to have the lightweight. He's going to, we know James Cummings is so good at targeting that race. Won it within Secret, won it within Cylinder. Last year, I think he's just gives me Newmarket vibes massively, but I think he'll run super. A horse that I want to highlight, just at a big price here, that I think could be a bit of a threat in a Newmarket, is number 9 Skybird. She's $34 here. She's 50s in futures markets for the Newmarket. She always runs well down the straight. Her strike rate isn't particularly impressive, but she'll be in there with the lightweight. And I think she's a 1,200 metre horse, even though she's been stretched out a couple of times to 1,400 metres. So Skybird, keep an eye on her. If she runs, into your sort of 6th, 7th with a sort of barnstorming run, I don't think she's ever run at 1,000 metres before. I think she's being set towards a Newmarket. So just one I wanted to highlight.
Yeah. There's a couple of horses that are sneaky non-winners, and I'm not necessarily calling her one. Like, she's won 4 from 11, but her last win was in April last year at Morphettville. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm going to highlight again another horse later in this podcast that is a sneaky non-winner. That's getting a few L's together. So, but hey, I thought you were going to say Benedetta. You love that horse.
I love Benedetta. She's good straight track horse as well, but I just don't think she measures up in this sort of setup over 1,000 metres. And she hasn't raced for a long time. Long time, Benedetta. But 5-year-old mares. Because I think her last race would have been the Stradbroke. First time she finished outside the top 4.
Probs. Yeah. They should rename race 9 the non-desirable stakes, because I have no desire to bet into this affair. I thought it was tough. Really, really tough.
Yeah, it is. It is.
3-year-old fillies listed grade, set weights penalties again.
I don't have particularly firm opinion. Again, yeah, set weights and penalties, like you said, 1,400 metres. Oh, Too Darn Discreet showed some class. Last prep, but does she want a wet deck? Sneaky Sunrise. Seen a bit from her. She's by the Autumn Sun. Raced well down Flemington before, 4 starts for 2 wins and a second. So she's $6. That's probably the one I could have a bit of a throw at the stump set.
Good Sort was arguably unlucky not to beat Aliana at Randwick on Everest Day, I reckon it might have been. So J-Mac on board, Barrier 3, Chris Waller, like $7 sort of stuff. Like, I could entertain that, but I'm not really in a mood to kind of...
You could entertain it, but you just don't feel like it.
No, I don't. Not this weekend. But that's all she wrote at Flemington. So let's go to Randwick. Now, it's currently rated a soft 6 there. Now, there is a bit of rain around, up to 10 mils on Saturday with 15 to 25 kilometre hour winds as
Wet
well.
in Sydney.
Yeah.
In the autumn.
Now, there's a 2-horse play here. 2-bet play. The first one is number 1 Comedy. Now, I thought he was a nice winner against his stablemates back in October in the Kirkham Plate. Yeah, kind of just, I think he'll appreciate getting out to the 1,100 metres. I think Randwick's cherry right for him. But if you haven't, this is, again, one for friend of the show of Melbourne Stars fame, Mitchell Swepson. Number 3, Shaggy. Now, Now, Shaggy is $61 in Golden Slipper markets, right? Now, Shaggy, the Shagster, has absolutely brained his opposition in his only 2 career starts. Now, he'd want to. Now, if you're winning by 6 lengths over 800 metres, I don't care where you're racing. Like, that's impressive stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, he did that at his first ever start at Coffs Harbour. Then he went up to the Sunshine Coast over 1,000 metres. Now, he actually gave this field weight as well. He had 59 kilos. The runner-up had 56. Beat that horse by 2.5 and beat the rest of them by 6.5. So Shaggy just gets to the front and absolutely bullies his opposition. You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Stormboy from last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like...
He's a bully.
Just goes to the front, controls it. And what do you see there? 6-horse field, 7-horse field, which was Stormboy's go. So has 11 to contend with here. It's probably his borderline there, Shaggy. But Shaggy at 550, I think I know where he's going to be. I think he's going to be on speed. So the Shagster, I want to see Shaggy win.
I'd love to see that as well.
Like, all right, what price would this horse be if it was trained by Kirima? You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Alan Kehoe, the trainer. Wish him luck. And you know what? The fact that it's even come up $5.50.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Sheesh. I have a concern. And the concern is Kieran McAvoy on the United States from that gate.
Well, J-Max in Melbourne. Bro.
Exactly. So that's a concern. Otherwise, $6, I'd be very keen to have a healthy bet on the United States.
I think the K-Mac of the last 12 months is not the same K-Mac of, say, the last 5 years.
Completely agree with you. But gate 10 in a race like this...
Yeah, but...
I know where he's going to be, and he's going to leave it too late, 1,100 metres.
But
will I be on? Yes.
He pretty much had the exact same run, and he rode him last time. Like, kind of looped him and just ran out of room, 1,000 metres.
Yes. So could that happen again?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's my concern. That's the concern. Yeah. That's my entire point.
Okay.
But I'll still have a bet on him.
Well, Shaggy will give him a bunny to chase.
Maybe it'll be Shaggy in the United States. Going neck and neck. Quincy.
Well, what price is United States? It's annoying because
$6.
Baz of Bazball fame had a bat called the United States. Now, clearly that horse didn't win a Group 1. I thought it did, though.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, the big dogs at Coolmore decided to call this one the United States. So
Yeah, right.
they asked Tom Magnier, "Did you name this horse?" And he said, "It wasn't me."
Race 5 is the Expressway Stakes, 1,200 metres, Group 2.
Stupid, dumb, stupid thing to say.
Set weights, penalties. Now, not all set weights and penalties are the same. The fact that Jolly Star and Alentia have the same weight here, Jolly Star is incredibly well in here.
Horizontal.
Do you not agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black odds. Thank you. Thanks, Neds.
Yeah. 260.
Yeah.
Like Alentia, I need to see it from Alentia against this sort of grade.
She's a bomb first up, but she's a bomb first up in listed benchmark 100s.
Exactly. But she's also turned into a woman, Alentia. Like, she looks strong. Like, she's got the heels on. You're like, hey, bruh.
She buys Zoo Star, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
So is Jolly Star. Jeez, he's good. This is a cracking little race, even though it's got 6 horses.
This is a fantastic race.
Yeah, Jolly Star. Definitely, absolutely having a bet on Jolly Star at that price this weekend. Again, I just, with that gate, even though it's a small field, and she's going to have a massive target on her back, you just want K-Mac to get her into a nice spot with a drag into the race. You don't want him to overplay his hand early and try and feel the need that he needs to kick her up. So there is... I know he's been riding a lot better the last 12 months, but there's always a nagging feeling when we've got a Chris Waller horse from a shitty gate with Karen McAvoy on. Always leaves me with a little bit of an ick. I can't help it.
You've seen too much.
I've seen too much.
Yeah.
I've been burnt before.
But you know what the difference is? There's no J-Mac. So he's on the top seed, where J-Mac probably has enough of a vehicle under him, where K-Mac's got the number 1 seeds this weekend.
True.
Believe in him. He can overcome.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want to believe in him.
Yeah.
Because that's 2 horses I've already highlighted.
Yeah.
With K-Mac on.
Yeah.
That'll be betting on.
Yeah.
Just get one of them home for me. Preferably United States at a bigger price.
Magic Time. I need to see her do it again.
I know she ran 4th, second last prep. I was disappointed by her Magic Time. Particularly because the races she was in, what was she in? Group 2, the Gilgai Stakes.
Belclair just
Yep.
had her way with her.
The Invitation and the Hot Danish. So Group 2 is like...
And she's never, for me, a betting proposition first up. Ever.
No. Maybe Magic Time, since that victory she had in the All-Aged, was on a heavy 10. She's then gone to the Keith Smith Cup and the Stradbroke on a soft 6 and a good 3. Didn't like her coming up to Queensland at all anyway. I think they should have spelled her after that heavy 10 All-Aged. That was ridiculous. Should have spelled her. And then she's come back after the Queensland prep, soft 6, Flemington, good 4. Maybe she was still busted up from that All-Age Stakes win, and maybe that's just flattened her out a little bit. Absolutely, you have to see it. But maybe she's looking for wetter decks now.
Maybe. $3.10 is awfully short. Like,
That's my point.
I'd rather bet on Alentia at nearly 5s.
Yeah.
Versus Magic Time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, race 6 is the Triscay Stakes, 1,200 metres, Group 3 for the mares. Now, there's a nice little bet here. Now, has it come up favourite? Sydney Source gave me a ring. Said, hey, bruh, might be highway grade, but this Clear Thinking is a serious horse.
Mm-hmm.
So, found trouble, still won, albeit in highway grade. 4 from 4. 53 kilos, had and carried the 60 kilos last start. First up, only going to improve, drops 7 kilos to this, albeit in far superior grade. I think I think Clear Thinking can go on with the job.
Mm-hmm.
Keen.
Yes. I think Clear Thinking's a good horse. The chat about her is the Country Championships final. If she wins this race, she'll be ruled out of that for whatever reason. Maybe it's a black type thing. Maybe it's a prize money thing. I'm not sure. So clearly they're not taking the risk, and they're not taking her to this race hoping that she runs a nice second or third. No, they're taking her to this race because this is black type, and they think she's good enough for black type, which is critical for her breeding. She's very well bred as well, actually.
And
Clear Thinking.
It's a nice line in the sand. It's like,
How good are you, bro?
Yeah. How are you up to the task? Because if you are, then we will take you to insert race here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I like your point because she's only had the 4 career starts. Where's the ceiling? We don't know. I'd much rather take $4 about her than $5 about Commemorative.
Yeah, who's just a perennial disappointment, I feel.
And
you're just constantly waiting for her to step up to the grade.
And get me the group of blokes who keep shooting themselves in the penis, backing Cigar Flick this prep. Oh, seriously though. What's
the SB profile? Talk me through it.
$2.50 last start, third. $3.60 the start before that, seventh. $1.75 start before that, second. $12 fifth, $26 fourth. Both of those races where she was a big price, guess what they were? Group 3s. Since then, she's been racing in much easier grade and hasn't won. And she's been at a terrible SP. Couldn't possibly. Couldn't possibly. I think Kundalini at $8 is a much better bet.
Absolutely. She's found her mojo again. Graham Begg, these tried mares. He just gets on with them so well. Yeah, she's found herself under Graham.
And her form around, A Little Deep, Aviatrix, Revolutionary Miss, Our Girl Ismiss.
Something had to run
Trialed
second that day.
Trialed Super. Like, the $8 about her is so much better than the $6.50 for Cigar Flick or the $5 for Commemorative. Maybe I've talked myself into a better get to Kundalini, which I know you wouldn't begrudge.
No way.
But I think it's just important to just have a look at things like that in a race like this. You know what I mean? It's just like look below the surface a little bit, and you'll find some dross with some horses, and then you'll find gold with others.
Absolutely. Firestorm, if you said, hey, what about Firestorm? I like her at $21. I understand that. Disappointing to the latter end of her prep, but
Absolutely.
She was firing at the start of last prep. So
absolutely, she's $21. You could absolutely have a spec. Look, I'm happy to see her go round. Like, there's a reason why Chris Wallace put Reece Jones on her, and she's out of gate 10. When he's got Cigar Flick, he's got that's all he's got in this race. So yeah. But anyway,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah, it is telling. Now the Lightfingers Stakes. This is a fascinating little contest. One of the ones I'm wet with anticipation. 1,200 metres, Group 2, 3-year-old fillies. Set weights, not penalties, just set weights. Now, I talked about this in the Arabian Summer Race last weekend, in our review and in the preview. I think my strategy, it's going to be short for a lot of these like set weights against their own age and sex, but the cream rises to the top. Now, there's 3 classic horses here. Lady of Camelot, Manal, Lady Shenandoah. But I also said this earlier. There's a surprising little non-winner here. That is Lady of Camelot. Her last win was in the Golden Slipper last year. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs ago.
Yeah. And what did I say about her when we're talking about Arabian Summer? Something along the lines of, she's reached her peak. We know where she's at. I know what she's capable of, Lady of Camelot. Is her best capable of winning this race? I think so. Mm-hmm. Do I want to take her on? Absolutely. Number 3, Lady Shenandoah.
Yes, mate.
Is a young filly going places. She's only had the 4 starts. Her first prep, I think, was just a bit of a dip the toe in for Chris Waller, see how she goes. She ran well. Comes back first up, in Group 3. I was very keen on her that day, $5.50. And she duly saluted, absolutely brained them, just showed a turn of foot that only the good horses have. And then goes to the Flight Stakes, and we saw what she did there. You cannot tell me that she's going to go backwards. You cannot tell me she's going to go backwards.
No.
So I'd much rather have the $3 about her with the good people in Eds than the $3.60 with the people of Lady of Camelot. Plus, she's the one who's developing into the 3-year-old wait for age sort of, her graph is trending like that, whereas Manal and Lady of Camelot are doing this for mine. Great 2-year-olds. Not a lot of them go on with it.
Yeah, you know what I did like about Manal's prep? They pulled the pin quite early. I didn't mind that because, she ran third behind Amina, arguably should have won, beat Amina at the next start, and then, Autumn Glow absolutely destroyed her later in the T rows. And then they were like, something must have just been off because if she was 100% right, they would have continued on, surely. That was only the 21st of September. So I think her trials have been okay. Barrier 12 for Manal. Don't know about that. And Lady Shenandoah, barrier 8 out of 15, 14. So I'm still going to back myself though. And the one my first thought, best thought, Lady Shenandoah on top as well.
What's going on with Autumn Glow? Have you seen any news about her? Has she been trialling or anything?
I'm unsure actually. I can have a look.
Because if she's trialled and is ready to go, I find it fascinating that she wouldn't resume in this race. Clearly, she wants further than 1,200 metres, but do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. She had a trial yesterday.
Oh, okay, cool.
On the 11th of February.
So I wonder what the ultimate aim is for her. Because the
Winery.
Oh, of course, yeah. So because the surrounds close by, so maybe she'll run in that, but her target is the Vinery, whereas Lady Shenandoah, she's by Schnitzel, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's by Schnitzel, so maybe the 1,600 metres sees her out. Autumn Glow will probably head towards an Oaks as well, you'd imagine, post of Vinery. Autumn Sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'd have to look back at the Great Girls resume, Winks. Did she run in one Oaks, I reckon?
Oh, she won the Queensland Oaks.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if she ran an Oaks prior to that. I doubt it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if they've got an opinion of her. Like, Chris Waller has a pretty good crop of 3-year-old fillies. Aliana, Lady Shenandoah, and Autumn Glow.
I don't know who's the best.
Yeah.
Don't know who's the best. Aliana, I think she might have the most natural talent, but...
Got a bit of the fangirls about her.
Yeah, got a bit of the fangirls about her.
Yeah. Speaking of,
the
Apollo Stakes is race 8, Group 2, weight for age over 1,400 metres. This is this close to race of the day? It's getting up there. I think the Lightning just takes the cake.
Yeah, but
this is a belter.
Do you know what this is though? This is a genuine Group 2 race.
Yeah,
because all the best horses in the country are resuming, and you can't say this is the grand final of any of these, but it's of Group 2 quality.
Absolutely.
So this is the definition of a Group 2. Do you think they'll talk about this race being upgraded to a Group 1? Absolutely they will.
No way.
I absolutely think they will.
No way.
I 1,000,000,000% think they will.
No. Is this the race that's...
and I'm not just talking about administrators. I'm talking about, people in the media.
No
way.
I
Honestly, if you watch Drifters, watch Channel 7 this weekend, someone will say, I think talking about the pattern, blah, blah, this race should be a Group 1. Someone will say that.
No way. No.
I hope they don't. I hope they don't.
Can't be.
I hope they don't.
Because this is... I can't even remember the Memsey. What was it? The All last week. Can't even remember it. It was that forgetful. I think if you have Via Sistina in a field of Fairgirl and Zardozi in a tissue and Cheerwolf...
This is a much better race than the CF4.
That's my point.
I know that's your point. But that's my point is the CF4 shouldn't be a Group 1, and nor should this.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but I guarantee you someone will say that this should be a Group 1.
Well, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Sorry, Richo.
So
in case you say that.
No,
He won't say it.
No, he's smarter than that.
He won't say it.
So what you're saying is we should have a gig, like great cricketer style, on Channel 7's coverage of the horse racing. Like they should saddle us up on a couch and you could actually switch to us and we give our thoughts on the events.
Don't know what you're talking about with great cricketer, but sure.
Okay. All right. I don't think I'm going to be betting in the Apollo Stakes. I'm just going to be sitting back, clapping and watching. And really growing to Cheer Wolf, but I don't think he's a first-up performer. And I think Joe Pride has bigger aspirations for this guy.
Yeah. Depending on the deck, like if it's no worse than a soft 5, Via Sistina, black odds, yeah. She's so much better than all these, I think, at first up over 1,400 metres. Yeah. Like I'm not overthinking it. I think Cheer Wolf could very well beat her at some stage this prep, but it's not here.
Yeah. Looking at his profile, it's probably a good point. Oh, he did win the King Charles on a soft 5. I think he shows his best on... Oh, that was his best run. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway.
That, for me, yeah. I think she just... Losing J-Mac and having that exhilarating experience for Via, leading up to the...
Cox Plate.
Leading up to the Cox Plate. I think that's just unlocked something in her. That was absolutely breathtaking, that win in the Cox Plate. And then her run in the Champion Stakes a couple of weeks later, or 3 weeks later, whatever it was just breathtaking as well. I just sat off and we just went, see you later. And the way she won first up last prep over 1,400 metres, like, you don't reel off sectionals like that. So if it's not too wet, which I think is her Achilles heel, I just think she's better than these.
Is it a case of fast horses just run fast? You know what I mean?
I think it really could be.
Yeah.
Do you know who'll run on for a nice placing? That was 6 Fangirl.
Yeah, will she? I don't know. Jury's
That's
out.
what she does.
Jury's out. I don't know.
Mate, my jury was out before a lot of other people's.
Yeah. I got my cash in the King Charles like 2 years ago. So
Yeah, you're like, see ya.
yeah.
I'm good.
Yep. I've always been cautious since then. I'm like, yeah, it's almost like you don't know you're in the good old days until like when you're in them. You know what I mean? Like they were the good old days of Fangirl. Like now it's getting it's possibly getting a little bit sad. It's like, it's almost like seeing a veteran like footy player. It's like, they want to do what they used to, but they just can't. Yeah. Are we at that stage with Fangirl yet? I don't know.
I don't know. Who would you say would be above who in the pecking order for Chris Waller? Jason Collett or Zach Lloyd?
Ooh. I'm assuming JC has just done more work.
With Fangirl?
Yeah.
Because I'd be interested to, what's the seeding
Yeah.
in his own mind? Chris Waller.
Well, it's interesting because Zach is riding Lady Shenandoah.
Yeah, he rode her as well in the flight stakes, so that makes sense. But, yeah. So, K-Mac again. So, that's 3 horses I've highlighted with K-Mac on that are at a relatively short price.
Jockey challenge sort of stuff.
Yep. No pressure.
Yeah. But, yeah, okay. I think that's about it, mate.
Yeah, shit.
I think we're done.
Phenomenal day of racing.
Yeah.
What's this twat doing on his bike?
Yeah, I know. Happens all the time around here, mate.
Yeah,
Jokers.
happens in the ghetto as well, Aspley.
Yeah.
Look out.
Yeah.
No, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So am I. It's going to be good because we have an event on Saturday
We
night
do.
as well.
Gentlemen who take each other out for a nice dinner, a nice steak meal.
Yep. Almost
Really looking forward to that.
like Last Supper sort of stuff.
It really is.
Before some young men's lives change forever.
Yeah, I think that's what I characterised it as, like a Last Supper. Just sitting back thinking about it, I was like, "Fuck, I'm not going to see these fuckers for a long time."
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that, and now that I've re-downloaded Instagram, I consumed all of Tim Narkey's content.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Tim Narkey.
Yep.
I'm inspired.
Yes.
I'm inspired.
Yep.
So the goal for Saturday is to build myself a nice little kitty to take to the big house.
Well, I keep forgetting about it, but whenever I do go to the big house, and I had a good night, and I might have I have a little money clip, and then I put it away, and I was like, that's why I sent that text this morning. I'm like, I already have a kitty for the big house. Bang.
Yes. See, because I when I go to the track, I quite often bet with cash as opposed to on the apps. And I do the exact same thing. So
Yeah.
I've got quite a kitty sitting in my apartment, which I'll never tell you where it is, Drifters. Which the goal is to utilise that cash for recreational purposes until it runs out. That could be decades from now.
I think you need to change the goal because you're in the market for a house.
Yep.
You get it up to I could buy anything sort of stuff. So it's like you get you basically win a house deposit on Saturday night.
Yes. Yes. So we're aiming for 7 figures, Drifters, because that's how the housing market's going in Brisbane right now. You need a milli for a deposit.
Yeah.
No, I'm very excited. It's going to be a good day on Saturday.
Same. It's going to be good stuff. All right. We will see you maybe a bit battered and bruised on Sunday, and I'm sure there'll be a war story or two to tell. So we'll see you then.
Peace and blessings.
All right. What?